For my first Ratchet and Clank Top 10, I'll be counting down my personal favorite weapons in the first 4 Ratchet and Clank games. I'm talking about the classic PS2 era here, folks, not the PS3 games. I'll get to that later. As a rule of thumb, these weapons are going to be mostly within the wacky genre, the outlandish weapons the series is known for. No, Rhino will not be on this list, because as great as it is, putting it on this list would be cheating in my book. Number 10. The Suck Cannon. Ah, classic. I've always had a love-hate relationship with this thing. On one hand, it can be pretty fun and rewarding to use, if used correctly. On the other hand, it has a tendency for being unreliable at times and screwing you over. Don't even try sucking up those mines. You try sucking up the wrong thing, and you're finished. But you know what? This weapon is a gamble, and gambling can be addicting. Warning, don't gamble. Number 9. The Scorpion Flail. With all of Deadlock's downfalls, this thing is really fun. While not as fun to use as the Shark Ravager, the Scorpion Flail deserves a spot on this list. When this sucker hits, man, it really hits. Don't get hit with it. It would really hurt. Number 8. The Pyro Cider. Who doesn't like to play with fire every once in a while, huh? Well, this flamethrower was one of the very first weapons introduced to Ratchet and Clank, and, it certainly won't be forgotten. While it isn't something you'd use on every enemy in the game or on long-distance enemies, the Pyro Cider is still one of, if not the most helpful weapon in the game. Well, maybe not the most helpful, but pretty damn helpful. Seriously. Ever get surrounded by a horde of enemies and need a quick fix? Just pull this baby out and spin around. Those enemies will turn to ashes pretty quick. Ashes to ashes. They all fall down. Moving on. Number 7. The Infector. There's nothing more satisfying than turning your enemies against each other, and that's exactly what the Infector does. It makes the things attacking you attack their own. It's funny to watch and a handy tool to have in tight spots. Number 6. Agents of Doom. Ever needed someone to do your dirty work for you? Well, you're not the only one. You need the Agents of Doom. Maybe you're not in the mood to fight or just feel too lazy. Either way, just point, shoot, and stand back as these little robots handle the job for you. Number 5. The Bouncer. I used to underestimate this weapon, but, in reality, it's one of the best in the series. It's very destructive, and like the Agents of Doom, just point, shoot, and stand back. Really, stand back on this one. It's a doozy. This has the capability of filling the screen up with so much destruction, you'll probably want to take a breather after using this weapon. Number 4. The Disc Blade Gun. Generally, I like all of the little ninja star guns. There have been a lot of them. The chopper came before the disc blade gun and going commando. I chose to put the disc blade gun on here because I feel like the chopper slows you down a little more than this one. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Who knows? Anyways, the disc blade gun is a great addition to the range of weapons in up your arsenal. These things ricochet off the walls and can really heat up the battlefield. They have a tendency for filling the screen up with craziness, like the bouncer before it, and the sharp sound effects these things make is just so cool in itself. Have fun, be a ninja. Number 3. The Plasma Whip. Whip it good. This cool addition to Ratchet and Clank may have been what started the melee weapon craze in the series. Yes, we have the Walloper in the original, but this is different. If it weren't for this whip, we probably wouldn't have the Shark Ravager. Think about that for a second. Really, just think about that. We may not even have the Scorpion Flail. The Plasma Whip is basically a replacement for your wrench, but a damn good one at that. You can even throw it like a boomerang, just like the wrench. This thing is simply fun as hell to use, and that sound you hear when it smacks an enemy, boy, that just stings. Man, that's gotta hurt. Number 2. The Flux Rifle. I know what you're thinking. What is this doing on here? It's just a normal sniper rifle, right? right? Right, but you know what? It's my sniper rifle. I've always been a fan of stealth, and this is the best stealth weapon in up your arsenal. It's just so rewarding hiding out somewhere and taking those enemies down to Chinatown, man. This thing really works. Just to make sure you're prepared, don't try to use it out in the open. Though with enough practice, I'm sure you could do some damage going rogue with this thing. I've done it. I know. Before I name my number one weapon on this top 10, how about some honorable mentions? The Taunter. Gimmicky, but also, there are some fun moments to use this. Enemies can be so stupid, they'll walk right into a deadly force field if you use the Taunter. Also useful in getting the Rhino via glitch, and setting off mines. The Mine Glove. Really useful in general, but even more so in the Up Your Arsenal multiplayer games. I've spammed these things so much it's not even funny. Next time you're playing Siege and Up Your Arsenal, try placing some mines in and around your home base and see what happens. You'll laugh. The Mini Turret Glove. These things will basically do all the shooting for you. It'll make the job twice as easy. You'd be surprised the situations I've gotten out of because of these things. Seeker Gun. It seeks and destroys. Great weapon. Pretty self-explanatory. Number 1. The Visi Bomb Gun. Ah yes. Where do I start? This thing is just so useful. You point, shoot, and steer this missile wherever you think it needs to go. Maybe you want to see what lies ahead in another room before you step into it. You can pick off a lot of enemies just by using the Visi Bomb Gun, and I'll tell you what, it comes incredibly handy at the end of the first game where you got those trigger-happy commandos on jetpacks ready to gun you down. You can just pretty much hide out before you even get into the room that you see them in, and just take them down one by one. Pick them off one by one. And since you can also get this weapon in the second game, you're going to find a lot of reasons to pull the sucker out anyways. All in all, this may not be considered the best weapon, but it certainly is my favorite, and I'm sure I don't stand alone in that sentiment. This series is known for its innovative weapons, and the Visi Bomb stands out as an elite choice for any player looking to play smart and not hard. There you have it, folks, my top 10 weapons in the PS2 Ratchet and Clank series. I had a lot of weapons to choose from. There are so many in the series, There's only so much that I could put on here. Did your favorite weapon make the cut? Or did it not? Let me know in the comment section below. And subscribe, because there's going to be a lot more videos on the way. And you'll probably want to be updated if you like Ratchet and Clank, because this channel is going to be filled with quite a lot of them as we draw closer to the release of the movie.